What's up, my beautiful people? Welcome to the Evolved Sound Group Deep Dive.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Today we're discussing the freestyle JAY-Z spit at the Roots Picnic in Philadelphia. I mean, yo boy is back. The truth is back.
He really is. It's crazy.
Young Hob is back, headlining this triumphant Roots Picnic performance, featuring Jasmine Sullivan, Bilal, and Meek Mill, just to name a few.
Such an insane lineup, like truly historic.
Right. But you know how in movies, there's always that scene where the retired master, the guy who hasn't put on the gloves in years, is forced to remind everyone exactly why he's a legend.
Oh yeah, like he just walks into the room in street clothes.
Exactly. He doesn't do a whole training montage. He doesn't make a big spectacle of getting ready. He just executes one impossible, flawless move, and the entire room goes dead silent.
And that quiet, undeniable power is exactly what played out this weekend in Philly.
It really is. It's entirely dominating the cultural conversation right now. So if you've been anywhere near the internet, you know we need to decode this return to the stage.
Definitely. Especially that 4-minute, entirely a cappella freestyle that just set the music industry ablaze.
It is a phenomenal moment to analyze because it operates on so many different levels. And we've pulled together a massive stack of sources to help you navigate exactly what happened and, why it matters.
Yeah, we are looking at on-the-ground reviews, cultural critiques, and lyric breakdowns from Pitchfork, Rolling Stone, Variety, BT, Billboard, and E! News.
Plus the official annotations from Genius. So our mission today is to look past the initial shock value of the lyrics and understand the mechanics of the power move.
Because before we even analyze the specific targets he went after, the physical setting of this performance communicates, like, half the message.
Okay, let's unpack this. The environment really is crucial here.
What's fascinating here is the sheer context of the moment. You have Jay-Z stepping onto the stage at the Belmont Plateau in Philadelphia on a Saturday night.
Right, which is huge.
Yeah, and this is his first solo headlining show in over 5 years. I mean, considering he hasn't released a solo album since 4.44 back in 2017.
And he walks out with this full, unbothered afro, looking incredibly comfortable.
Yeah.
He proceeds to deliver a 90-minute, 32-song career retrospective.
A literal masterclass.
Mhm.
And he didn't rely on the standard DJ and a backing track setup either.
No, he had the Roots playing behind him,
Right.
which instantly signals a level of musical prestige, and it nods heavily to his historic 2001 MTV Unplugged album.
Oh, for sure. Plus, you add in the hometown Philly flair.
Yeah, bringing out Jasmine Sullivan for Feeling It.
And Bilal for No Church in the Wild.
And Meek Mill for Dreams and Nightmares. You just have this massive celebration of musical community. He even did a state property reunion with Beanie Siegel and Freeway.
It's just wild.
But here's what I am trying to wrap my head around. When an artist of this magnitude wants to reassert their dominance, there's usually a standard playbook.
Right, the typical industry rollout.
Exactly. You do a massive PR tour, you drop a highly polished studio single, you go on the late-night TV circuit, you blanket Spotify with banners.
Yeah, you play the game.
So why completely bypass the traditional music industry machinery and use a festival stage in Philly to make this grand return?
That's a great question.
To me, it feels like a retired chess grandmaster walking into a public park in Washington Square, sitting down at a concrete table and just playing anyone who walks up, solely to prove he can still run the board.
Your chess analogy hits the nail on the head, honestly, because this entire performance was a demonstration of unadulterated legacy.
Right.
The context provided by Variety is essential here. Just days before this performance, Drake broke Jay-Z's long-standing record for the most Billboard 200 #1 albums.
Among solo men and R&B and hip-hop artists, yeah. So the timing of this sudden reemergence is definitely not a coincidence.
Far from it. In the modern music industry, your relevance is almost entirely tied to your latest release cycle.
Right, you're only as good as your last hit.
Exactly. So, by delivering this muscular, deeply woven setlist without a new album to promote, Jay-Z is proving that his cultural elevation transcends the Billboard charts.
He is showing his peers that his catalog remains untouchable.
And he doesn't need to play the traditional release game to be the biggest story in the world.
Which brings us to the moment that literally stopped the show. Just minutes into the set, right after performing Hovey Baby, the 30-piece band goes completely silent.
The massive festival crowd just quiets down.
And Jay-Z delivers a raw, 4-minute a cappella freestyle, his voice just echoing out over the plateau, stripping away the beat entirely. It forces you to focus strictly on the pen.
It's a calculated vulnerability, really, that weaponizes his legacy. Without a beat to hide behind, every syllable, every pause is pushed to the absolute forefront.
Let's get into those syllables, starting with the bars aimed at Drake.
Yeah, this is where it gets heavy.
So Drake recently released a track from his Iceman era called Janus STFU, where he used the phrase, "the jig is up," which is a clear play on Jay-Z's old moniker, Jigga.
Right. And standing on that stage, Jay-Z fires back.
He says, "The jig is up, we got up 10, wrong chart champ, you got to look up again. N-words, look up to Hav, I never looked up to them."
It's a brilliant tactical counterpunch.
It really is.
He directly acknowledges the Billboard record, right, labeling Drake the chart champ. But he immediately neutralizes it by asserting that while Drake might have the numbers, Jay-Z created the blueprint.
He's reminding him, like, you grew up studying my career trajectory, I didn't study yours.
Exactly. That's a solid lyrical jab, but he doesn't stop at rap skills. He actually goes right for the infrastructure of Drake's career.
Oh man, yeah. He drops this bar, "Them crackers got your publishing checks, go talk tough to them, don't talk success to me. You N-words is workers. In perpetuity is how your contracts is worded."
That line is brutal.
If you're listening to this and you aren't deep into the weeds of music industry contracts, we need to break down the mechanics of what he's actually attacking here.
We do, because this is perhaps the most devastating critique in the entire freestyle. It shifts the battlefield from lyrical ability to capitalist ownership.
Right. When Jay-Z calls his rivals workers, he is drawing a hard line between a high-earning employee and an actual institution.
Because there's a massive difference between generating wealth for a corporation and actually owning the corporation yourself.
Exactly.
Let's look at the phrase "in perpetuity." In contract law, especially in traditional record deals, signing away your rights in perpetuity means the record label owns the master recordings of your music forever.
Forever. That's wild.
Right. They control how it's used, where it's licensed, and they take the lion's share of the profit permanently. The artist just gets a percentage.
And Jay-Z fought a long, highly publicized battle to secure the ownership of his own master recordings and his publishing rights.
Yeah, he did. So when he says, "got your publishing checks," he's pointing out that no matter how many streams or #1 albums someone has, if they don't own the underlying intellectual property, they are still just an employee.
Generating revenue for the label executives.
Precisely. He is telling Drake, you can flex your wealth and your chart records, but you cannot talk to me about true independence or ownership.
It is a surgical strike on a structural economic level. It's corporate warfare delivered in rhythm.
Corporate warfare. That's the perfect way to phrase it.
But, you know, Drake challenged his chart supremacy. The offenses from Kanye West, or Ye, were far more personal.
They attack the actual family structure.
Right. Which is why Jay-Z's response shifts from a business critique to psychological warfare. Ye and Hav have this incredibly deep, complicated history.
I mean, they gave us the Watch the Throne album.
Yeah. But last year, in 2025, Ye made highly publicized derogatory comments about Jay and Beyoncé's children.
Which is crossing a major line.
So Jay addresses it head-on, rapping, "You ever heard of a wonderkin? My children is some of them. Have you N-words, no shame."
And then he pivots to Ye's behavior.
Yeah, he says, "Everybody think they the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch how sane he act in my presence. N-word shrink."
The use of wonderkind, meaning a child prodigy, is a fierce protective defense of Blue Ivy, Rumi, and Sir.
Definitely.
But the second half of that stanza is where the psychological dissection happens. Jay-Z is essentially calling Kanye's erratic public persona a calculated performance.
Oh, wow. So he's saying it's an act.
He's asserting that while Ye might act wildly unpredictable for the cameras or on social media, when he is forced into a room with Jay-Z, that persona evaporates.
He behaves. He shrinks.
It's incredibly dismissive.
It is. But I have to bring up a piece of context from Pitchfork and Rolling Stone that complicates this a bit, because I genuinely want to understand the strategy here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Just a few months ago, in March, Jay-Z did an in-depth interview with GQ magazine. They asked him about modern rap beefs, specifically the escalating tension between Drake and Kendrick Lamar.
Right, I remember this.
And Jay-Z was highly critical of it. He said the culture was taking things too far, turning into character assassination. And he specifically stated, "It's bringing people's kids in it. I don't like that."
Yeah, he was very vocal about that.
He even mused about whether battling should still have a place in hip-hop. So looking at those comments, isn't it wildly hypocritical for him to jump on a festival stage and drop a 4-minute diss track?
I mean, that tension is exactly what makes this cultural moment so fascinating. To be fair to Jay-Z, in that same GQ interview, he acknowledged his own potential hypocrisy. Given his legendary highly personal battle with Nas back in the day.
True, true.
But if we analyze the mechanics of this new freestyle, he is actually drawing a very distinct operational boundary.
How does this freestyle establish a boundary, though?
Well, he is positioning himself strictly as a defender, not an aggressor seeking clout. He is reacting specifically because critics brought his family and his business infrastructure into the public arena.
Oh, I see. So it's reactive.
Furthermore, the format he chose matters. By delivering this a cappella, without a hype track, he is demonstrating that he prefers to use calculated lyrical precision and razor-sharp wit to handle disputes.
Yeah, it's very stark.
He's contrasting his cold, controlled delivery with the frantic social media rants and internet screaming of his detractors. It's a flex of emotional regulation as much as it is a flex of lyrical dominance.
That reframing makes a lot of sense. He's extending the perimeter defense, basically.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the next layer of this deep dive, because he didn't just stop at Drake and Ye.
Not at all.
He used this freestyle to systematically address anyone who has thrown stones at the Roc Nation brand over the past few years, proving his memory is unfathomably long.
The sheer volume of references really turns this into an extended universe of industry critiques.
Yeah, it does. So let's look at the Nicki Minaj situation, which requires a bit of careful context.
It definitely does.
And I want to pause right here and state explicitly to you listening, we are absolutely not taking a political side here.
Right. Left, right, whatever. We are completely impartial.
We are not endorsing any viewpoints. We are simply analyzing the factual content of the lyrics and the cultural moment, as reported by Billboard and E! News objectively.
Exactly. Just breaking down the source material.
So JAY-Z rapped, quote, "A rapper can't be my ob, I got mad GA Republicans." The reporting links this to the heavy backlash JAY-Z faced over his curation of the Super Bowl halftime show, and how Nicki Minaj recently aligned herself with the Manji movement during that controversy.
The sources highlight that this is a collision of music industry politics and broader cultural alignments.
Building on that, JAY-Z drops a much more direct jab, rapping, "That lady back on the stuff. Her Ken can't even pick the kid. Enough of them."
That is heavy.
EA News points out this refers to Nicki's husband, Kenneth Petty, who is a registered sex offender facing legal restrictions regarding his movements.
Right. And fans also noticed the vocal delivery seemed to mimic a viral moment where Nicki forgot her own lyrics on stage.
It is a ruthless critique.
It really is, and it illustrates a broader strategy. JAY-Z isn't just focused on his immediate rap peers. He is addressing anyone who has attempted to undermine his or his family's cultural standing.
He really went room by room through the industry. In the freestyle, he actually calls it a murder mystery game, which feels exactly like the board game Clue.
Ah, that's a great comparison.
He's walking through the mansion, pointing out exactly who did what in the conservatory with a candlestick.
The Clue metaphor perfectly captures the methodical nature of the performance. Let's look at the mechanics of the other targets he addresses, because none of these names were chosen at random.
Right, they all have history.
Each represents a specific threat to the Roc Nation narrative.
Let's start with Tory Lanez. JAY-Z raps, "Your son in a federal jail," mumbling something about having too much in his drink.
This is a critical defense of his own management company. Roc Nation manages Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, right.
During the highly publicized shooting trial, Tory Lanez and his legal team, including his father, repeatedly pushed a narrative that Jay-Z and Roc Nation were somehow framing him. They later blamed alcohol for the incident.
Wow. So by addressing this directly, JAY-Z is publicly swatting down a conspiracy theory that attacked the integrity of his business.
Exactly. And he applied that same logic to Tony Busby, calling him a 1-800 ambulance chaser.
Because Busby is the attorney handling massive, sweeping lawsuits against various industry figures.
Right. Then he mentions Jaguar Wright, saying, "Quest introduced me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still F-word with him."
And Jaguar Wright has spent years on obscure podcasts spreading wild internet conspiracies about Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yep. He even addresses his former Rockefeller business partner, Dame Dash, calling him a chatty patty down on his luck again.
Highlighting their ongoing, very public legal and financial disputes.
He even reaches back to 1999, referencing the infamous nightclub stabbing of record executive Lance Rivera. He rapped, "I really get under skin, ask on how I'm playing."
Pulling a reference from a quarter century ago proves that the statute of limitations on crossing him simply does not exist.
It really doesn't.
But looking at this entire list, from podcasters spreading rumors to chart-topping pop stars, why spend 4 minutes at a triumphant festival validating these people by acknowledging them?
It seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, why not just ignore the noise entirely?
Well, the justification for the entire exercise is found in one highly specific line he delivers. He says, "It can cost you a B to even say my name."
Okay, wait, let me look at that. Cost you a B. So B obviously stands for $1 billion, representing his net worth. And the sheer financial leverage he holds to bury someone's litigation or industry blacklisting. But B is also Beyonce.
You've got it. And to add a third layer to that brilliant double entendre, it's a direct conceptual flip of the classic Destiny's Child anthem, Say My Name.
Oh, that is incredibly layered. So by framing it around the B, he's turning a lyrical diss into a reminder of his market cap and his family perimeter.
Exactly. This entire freestyle is an exercise in elite brand protection.
Right, because Rock Nation isn't just a label anymore.
It's a multi-layered billion-dollar enterprise. When disgruntled former partners, conspiracy theorists, or rival artists attack his character, they aren't just engaging in rap beef. They are attacking the foundation of a massive corporate brand.
Wow.
By standing on that stage and dismantling their arguments with effortless wordplay, he is sending a terrifying warning shot across the bow of the entire entertainment industry.
He is establishing the cost of doing business.
Whether you are a massive pop star or a podcaster with a microphone, challenging the Carter family comes with an exorbitant cultural and professional price tag.
He actually drops a line referencing The Wire, saying, "I'll Marlowe you N-words," comparing himself to the ruthless kingpin Marlo Stanfield.
Yeah, that's a chilling reference.
He's making it clear that he still controls the territory. He just dictates the terms from the boardroom now. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway here.
Right.
If you are listening to this on your commute or while you're at the gym, you might be wondering how a billionaire's rap beef applies to your daily life.
Yeah.
Why does this 4-minute performance matter to anyone outside the music industry?
Well, it matters because the specifics of the lyrics are entertainment, but the underlying mechanics of how he delivered them offer a profound lesson in leverage and self-worth.
Because we live in a culture that constantly demands we play the game to stay relevant.
Oh, absolutely.
We're told we have to post every day, we have to constantly network, we have to be loud and visible just to be seen and valued.
And JAY-Z proved that true power doesn't require playing by standard industry rules.
Not at all. He demonstrated that sometimes the ultimate power move is simply showing up, demanding absolute silence, stepping to a microphone with no backing track, and letting your track record and your sheer competence speak for itself.
That is the defining insight. If we connect this event to the broader landscape of how media and culture operate today, it leaves us with something vital to consider.
What's that?
We are trapped in an era of relentless content creation. Artists, brands, and everyday professionals feel this crushing pressure to constantly output material.
It's exhausting.
They're terrified that if they stop for even a second, the algorithm and the public will forget them.
It's the hamster wheel of relevance.
Exactly. But if a single 4-minute a cappella verse delivered by a 56-year-old artist who hasn't released a solo project in 7 years can instantly dominate the global conversation, rewrite the news cycle, and shift the cultural landscape, it raises a provocative question.
Hey, listen.
Are we entering an era where true cultural titans will bypass the traditional machinery and the relentless content wheel entirely? Will the real power players rule not through constant noise, but through these rare, calculated, hyper-concentrated moments of spectacle?
Man, that is the ultimate question. It's the difference between being just another part of the noise and being the undeniable signal that cuts through it all.
It really is.
It takes us right back to that movie scene we talked about at the very beginning. The retired master doesn't need to fight every challenger in the street every single day to prove he's the best.
No, he doesn't.
He just has to walk into the room, throw one perfect punch, and watch the entire room fall silent.
And in a world obsessed with being loud, that silence speaks volumes.
It certainly does. Thank you for sitting down with us for this deep dive. Keep questioning the noise, keep looking for the signal, and we will catch you on the next one.